it is relevant to you as a consumer because more so than it ever probably was, I'd say, because, we always say that, you hire the agent, not the brokerage.
In the end, there has been a massive shift of value in terms of like who is actually the most valuable person in a real estate transaction.
So they can't tell us what to do, but they also are responsible for if we screw up.
That the agent is the value. They are the ones doing the work. They are the ones finding relationships, getting deals done, handling the transactions. And really the brokerage is really more now under the agent and should be just supporting and making sure that their businesses are running smoothly.
Like if you're going to get into real estate and think that the brokerage you're going to go to is going to be the one to be able to support you to get your business, like you should not be in real estate because no brokerage is going to be able to promise you business. Hey, welcome back to Moving Sucks. It's time to fix that. This episode is actually going to take a different spin a little bit. We're going to pivot just ever so slightly and kind of mix things up and not necessarily speak to a home buying or home selling process. Well, I guess kind of. But we have been with our brokerage Real for about 6 months now. And about 7 months now. And we just wanted to do a little check-in and kind of talk to you guys about how that's been. It is relevant to you as a consumer because more so than it ever probably was, I'd say, because, we always say that, you hire the agent, not the brokerage. But the more I've been here, the more I've been able to say, and I actually caught myself saying in a listing appointment a couple weeks ago that I was like, I always did say that you're not hiring the brokerage, you're hiring the person, the agent. And I said, well, that's true. I would say that hiring somebody at Real, now that I've been here for as long as I have, does hold its advantage because we do have more of a leverage by being here.
Yes.
And we're just going to talk about why that is and what we've kind of gained in our last 7 months at Real.
And it is, you know what? You're absolutely right. It is 7 months. It's not 6.
Yeah.
You're the last holder. It actually almost is exactly 7 months because I think it was just about like December 15th when we're recording this. It's July 14th.
That you went over.
No, you went over in December, didn't you?
End of
December. Yeah, you were a holdout. That's okay.
Sorry, I was so busy.
You were so busy.
I had to close out all of my transactions.
Even though
it was a really tight turnaround because then I had to rush on over because I had listings waiting for me.
No, well, listen. So I've got a strong feelings about the state of real estate brokerages. And just for anyone out there listening, what a brokerage is, what all these different companies mean, is that when you get licensed as a real estate agent, you must, quote, hang your license with a company. And that company is a brokerage. They have a different type of licensure that allows them to kind of oversee the Jenn and the Seths of the world. And that's called the broker of record.
So they can't tell us what to do, but they also are responsible for if we screw up.
They can't tell us like how to work, how much to work. We are independent contractors, but they can enforce guidelines through our local association of realtors, our state commission. We do have things we need to abide by, like confidentiality. But if there's disputes or anything like that, we are dealing with legal processes. There is a broker and an entire company that will assist us and support us. But also there is the marketing side, whereas the company is able to, provide training and tools and marketing, methods and all that good stuff.
And back-end resources
support, tech.
Which actually, by the way, it's like if anybody's bought a house or sold a house and you looked at your final sheet, it breaks down your costs and you see a broker fee. It's going to really the back end processes and for them to hold your file for 7 years and be able to work on your behalf for 7 years following your transaction, and whoever is holding that and doing that and the systems they have in place for that is part of what you're paying for.
Yeah. And so we made a switch from Remax, which is probably still, I think, does the most amount of transactions in the world.
Huge.
In the world.
Yeah.
They've kind of waned a little bit. I think they're either 2 or 3 now in the United States, or at least on the continent. But we moved to a smaller, still continent-wide, 50 states brokerage called Real. And in the end, there has been a massive shift of value in terms of like who is actually the most valuable person in the a real estate transaction. Is it the brokerage? Is it the company that has all these agents, or is it the agent themselves who is really kind of the earth mover that just needs like underlying support from the brokerage? And that has been over the last 20 years a debate that I think is totally over, and I think it's been over since I even got licensed 10 years ago. That the agent is the value. They are the ones doing the work. They are the ones finding relationships, getting deals done, handling the transactions. And really the brokerage is really more now under the agent and should be just supporting and making sure that their businesses are running smoothly by offering tools, by offering training, support, dispute resolution, that type of thing. The agents, the brokerages that feel that that's not the case, and they still are like the reason that that the agents are successful, usually charge higher fees, and they are, I would say, the ones you've heard of. The brokerages.
Good way of putting it.
Yeah, the brokerages that you've heard of are very much that, and even like newer ones that you might have heard of.
Because another thing too is like, no matter, especially with like agents that are first starting out, and they're looking around for brokerages and they want to find the ones, well, like who's going to give me the leads? None of them.
Yeah.
And if they do, like they're cherry picking and giving you the super, and like if you're going to get into real estate and think that the brokerage you're going to go to is going to be the one to be able to support you to get your business, like you should not be in real estate, because no brokerage is going to be able to promise you business, and that's not what their role is. It should be a supporting role.
So let me just take everyone back, and then we're going to talk about Real and then why it's good for the consumer. Let me just give everyone a little bit of context as to what has happened over the last 25, 30 years in real estate. And I know you're probably thinking like, oh my God, here comes Seth with this like long diatribe. But
drink my coffee, don't mind me.
Basically, what used to happen, what has essentially happened is that the real estate.
We were hunters and gatherers back in
hunter-gatherers with spears and rocks. No. We back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, the real estate consumer engaged the real estate process a different way. They went to the brokerage and they walked in and they said, hey, I'm going to sell my house. I need a realtor on such and such and there was something called floor time. There was usually someone at the front desk. But if the broker was there, they'd be like, you know what? I have Jen. Jen's a great agent. She's young. She's, she knows the area really well, blah, blah, blah. And they were assigned an agent. The brokerage had the MLS book. The MLS is the search engine all of us realtors use. They literally had a book, and they would set up appointments on Wednesdays where everyone would bring their clients into the office to look through the MLS book. And the brokerage held the listings. They controlled the listings. And the agent had to come in, take over, get a time slot, bring in their clients, and look through it to see if there's anything they wanted to see. Everything was done by phone. There was never like internet. Then comes the internet.
I can't imagine. I'm just thinking, before you started talking, I'm thinking like, oh my God, I can't imagine a world with real estate without the internet and having the MLS online. But at the same time, God, that sounds nice. Be able to just organize it and schedule it so predictably.
Oh, I know.
Not, hey, this just came up. Let's go see it now.
Yeah, I mean, there is, but it's like,
cons,
it's a logistical nightmare. And you didn't have cell phones. So it's like, leaving a message like, hey, Bob.
DocuSign, signatures for everything.
But like, you meet me at my Century 21 office from 4 to 4:15 on Wednesday. We have to look at the MLS book. That wasn't only how it happened, but if there were new listings, they would that was when they refreshed it. So in the end, we are now skipping to post 90s. Everything went on the internet. all of the information went on the internet, and agents were able to, outside, back in the day, they had like, sports teams, they had, grocery carts, they had flyers, they had open houses. The internet changed the whole thing. The value proposition moved from the brokerage to the agent. And it took about 15 years for agents to start being like, wait,
What are you doing?
I'm the value. So what ended up happening is that brokerages were like, oh, okay, we get it. There has been a massive drawdown in terms of the amount of money and the expense that it would cost an agent to be at a brokerage. Back in the 90s, when they had all the information, the brokerages had all control over everything. They controlled over leads, everything. They took a larger split off of a commission, meaning like a $10,000 commission, it would be like 50-50.
There's a lot more work being done by the brokerage.
That's
you
right.
Be able to operate your business without.
That's right. So the value proposition of the brokerage was very high. Now you've got it where over that course of that arc, it has been drilled down to 60-40, 70-30, 80-20. Now there's like 100% brokerages there, but there's like no support, and that has all been turned upside down. But there are the big ones you've heard of. I still don't think have gotten the memo. And that was one of the reasons we left, because we wanted to be at a company. We didn't just leave for money, but also we wanted to be with a company that.
Oh, and I really want to make that part clear. I would have been able to keep more of my money if we stayed.
Yes.
At Remax.
Well, that was an anomaly. Like I got us a great deal there. I mean, that wasn't normal. And even also what you had at our first Remax wasn't normal either, because I was a partner. But in the end, like those companies are, they take too much money for what they offer. And so that, plus the fact that there is going to be a different look to real estate in the next 5 to 10 years. It is not going to look the same again. It is going to go through another transition because of AI. It's going to go through another transition just because I think the market's going to look a lot different. And I wanted to bring all of us to a company that had the ability to be nimble, actually had like a really strong forward tech looking perspective on things. And there's just not that energy. Like the best tech people in the industry come to Real. They don't go to the big old companies where there's no tech progressive energy, Now those companies would claim like we've got this large, bucket of cash and we're going to invest in this and that. It's like, yeah, but you can't attract the talent, whether it's the agent or it's the back end tech people, to understand the algorithm, understand how Zillow's changing with how people are searching, keeping up with trends, keeping up with AI, integrating AI.
We have AI in our app.
In our back end platform, we have AI, and his name is Leo, and we can just say, "Hey, Leo, tell me, like, can you pull up that?"
Apparently, he can't give me list my commissions out by date for your.
No, but he can give you your commissions. But no, it's like, hey, can you go in on 123 Main Street and get me and just pull up the PDF for that inspection report? I need it. It's like that's like a very small like sliver of like the value proposition. But again, it's supposed to just to kind of be under the agent supporting.
But just the fact that it's there, and just the fact that it's, it's kind of like when you go into a house and you can see, like I always tell people, like, okay, well, if this is what's wrong, these are the things that you can see, and it's like it's pretty hack-assery. Like imagine what you can't see. That isn't working. It's kind of the same premise of like going to a brokerage and it's like, oh, okay, well, like this is what, like with here, it's like, oh, okay, well, what you can see is like, oh, well, look at this very easily accessible like tech and just ease of systems, and just like if everything is going towards the direction of AI and digitalized everything, and we're already on the forefront of it, there is not going to be this catastrophic, have to flip starting from nothing.
Yeah. And also I would add to that is that not only do you have the people in the back end that know about tech, but you have some of the youngest and most progressive agents in the country at this company. And the amount of masterminding and collaboration that is occurring at this company is beyond what I was even told. I can hop on any of 10 masterminds with people doing hundreds of millions of dollars in business any given week. All I have to do is literally send them an Instagram message and be like, hey, can you send me the invite for your mastermind? I just want to hop on and like be a fly on the wall. That is not normal. That is not how most agents work, or most brokerages work. Now, a lot of times brokerages don't even offer really like a ton of training. They'll tell you they do, but even the agents within a larger big box brokerage, like you have to pay to get in. There's another agency that has a very close model to Real. And that is very much the case. Like if you don't join and like under the right person, like you're shut out. Every week at this meeting, at this brokerage, there is a call of the biggest thinkers in the company, billions and billions of dollars in volume with this one meeting. You just keep clicking over on the Zoom and like you keep clicking the gallery and it's like just more and more and more people and really high-minded people, high thinkers. But that was another thing. And you and I, Jen, always talk about better rooms. Personally, philosophically, economically, whatever, relationally, professionally, we always want to try to get into better rooms. And better rooms is not where you're the smartest.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I always say, if you're I was telling Jackson this not too long ago. I said, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
That's right. And
you have nothing to learn.
And that's right. And not that the brokerage we were at, we were the smartest people by any stretch. I just know that there are more people at this company that are much smarter than us. And I want to be able to have access to all of it, because that I firmly believe is the next progression of brokerage models, is a fully collaborative nationwide community of agents, but like truly collaborative.
It's not only encouraged, it's literally part of the company's like just mission and
it's open and like and it's written into our ICA, which is our independent contractor agreement, that if Jen wants to get into a mastermind and she's shut out, like that's a big problem for whoever did that. Like that's not, because a lot of people came from like our direct kind of sister competitor company. And that's what ended up happening, is that everything got like siloed down and people were being shut out and everything like that. So what I wanted to do is come into a very big sandbox of people that were just like here to help.
Not a sandbox, Seth. It's a beach.
It's a beach. I won't say that analogy, but Sean in Baltimore told me that, and that was like one of the light bulbs went off. I was like, that's such a great way to put it. And the thing is, it has lived up to every single thing that I was told. There is literally nothing about this company that I have not heard there that I was like, I wish I had known. Like, that's bullshit. I didn't realize that. Like, oh, okay. Like, there's no catch. So let's talk about real quick, like,
and they're transparent on all fronts. Actually, that's actually kind of what I tell people. I was talking to somebody who works for another brokerage, and I was like, yeah, at first, like before we cap, I'm not getting into what cap is and all that. That's not what this episode's about. But I was like, there are no favors. There are no special deals. It's transparent, transparent pricing splits. It's very, hey, you come here, this is what it is, period. And you get to just, that way the attention is put on where it needs to be, which is creatively and digitally. And
And like I was saying, like you're selling a shithole in Indiana or a mansion in Malibu, it like you still have the same compensation. You still owe the same amount of money to the agency. So a lot of times brokerages are like kind of adjusted for geography and like average price point and all that, but that's not the case. But then it alleviates the entire company from the politics of special sweetheart deals, and they can grow nationally.
I think it's very underrated, a very, very underrated part of this.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to talk about, because it causes drama.
Well, but it's also
it is what it is, period.
It's equitable, and it's an extension of the philosophy of the entire company, which is of equity. And that's it's another thing I love about. But I want to talk about real quick, like why this is good for the consumer and why I'm so excited. We're at the time of this recording, we're talking, in a few days, we're going to be rebooting the team and launching into some new projects, which I'm really excited to talk to you guys about. But there is going to be, and I said this at the top of the episode, there is going to be a change in how agents do their business. And right now, AI, we just recorded an episode about whether AI would replace real estate agents. I think we both agree right now that's not going to happen. But AI is supplanting and displacing a lot of personnel in real estate who are not agents, and a lot of it's just like the administrative stuff. And that's why, and that's happening all across all industries. But the leverage point for an agency or an agent that is at a Real is that the forward thinking and the tech and the ability to find buyers, find sellers, doing different things will allow you to do or allow you to serve the client much more than just a traditional, like, hey, we're going to like put a sign in the yard and then we're going to do an open house and, you know, we'll get feedback and do all that stuff. I have a vision of being able to go into buyer and listing presentations and be like, listen, like we've got this entire dashboard built out of AI where we can just go like try to find all these people, or we grow a massive network and of agents in the area, and we're able to ask and like privately sell homes. We just did one up in North Wales where I was like, hey, this thing is like a complete, like we think it's a tear down, but if anybody wants it, like anyone wants to take a look at it, we just totally sold it privately. That close-knit community is super important, and that can really serve the consumer. But I would venture a guess in the next 3 to 4 years that the day-to-day of the real estate agent will look very different. And a lot of it is going to be automated by AI, but it will also alleviate the agent from having to run around and do all this administrative work, answering emails, do this, that, and allowing the Jen and Seth of the world to go out and find more business or find buyers and sellers for their clients. And that's my point is that this is the only company that I can see right now that's big enough, but also small enough and nimble enough and philosophically aligned with the future to get this done. It's not a real estate problem. It's just a business problem. These big companies are old and slow, man. You've got people in their 70s running them, and they've been running and managing agents since the 90s, and a totally different world. They built an empire and they're massively wealthy. Congrats.
So good for you.
They cannot navigate this new era that we're about to enter. And so I always say, like, there's no one above the age of 50 at this place. There's like nobody. I mean, our broker of record is Bill, and Bill's the best. And Bill opened, Bill's our broker of record at Real. And that's like, he's like the guy who manages all the agents in the state. And he literally opened up the first KW office in Pennsylvania. But that was a really, really long time ago. And he does not pretend to know how to like take this company into the new era. He just enjoys being broker of record and being at the shore. So at the end of the day, the forward thinking, the tech, we've got debit card, we have fintech, we're publicly traded. I mean, most big brokerages are, but like our proposition is different. We're on the Russell Index, not the NASDAQ. So it's going to be a different environment for everybody, for agents and consumers. And we feel, and I've now after 7.5 months for me, that this company is going to be the vehicle to get us through it. And that's why we're so damn special, Jen.
So damn special.
So, but no, we're very excited. We do have 2 other agents on the team, and they have
one of them is over 50. So watch what you say.
No, I know. You know what though? Renee though.
She's younger than I am.
I know. I was about to say, I have known Renee for 40 years, and I'm like, I look at her hanging out with all these agents, and she is just like how she was with my sister back on Spruce Street in the 80s. Like, she's down. She's down to hang out.
She dresses better than I do.
What's that? Yeah, she dresses better than you do. You know,
a lot of people do, but
no, but it's a really cool vibe, and it's a progressive environment that, like, frankly, we needed. Everything's modern, the marketing is modern, but even like the offices are modern, the thinking's modern, and that's only going to serve our clients. So figured that we would just, get on here and just talk about it a little bit. Anyone who has any questions about like why Real would be better than another company, we can do something offline. Obviously any agents out there who are looking to make a switch, proof is in the pudding, guys. It's like, it's legit. And as long as you're like a pretty competent agent who does a decent amount of business, like I think the water's pretty warm over here. But actually, I'm the team leader and you're on the team. What's been your experience? Because I've done a lot of these like bigger conversations and you've been kind of coming along, at least after I joined first.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say when you were finished your fun little rant that when people are hiring an agent too, competency is a huge part of it. But I think even I wouldn't say bigger, just as important is the network that they have. It goes to show, how many conversations they are having. And there's a lot of brokerages that they allow you to come on board, they hold your license, but then they kind of just like let you go and just say, okay, go do your own thing. And some people really like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, when you're in a transaction or you're working with a client and, like I have a seller and I needed a vendor for something. And I have a lot of them, but there was one I didn't have for out where they're at. And we have a whole community of people that I was in a giant group chat that I was like, hey, anybody got something for this in this area? Like, I kind of hit a wall on this one. And within 3 minutes, I got somebody. And it's like, not only is it just that so when I said earlier, I know that you hire the agent, not the brokerage, but when you have an agent with a brokerage that has such a large network of people, it's only going to help the consumer with their solving their problems.
Yeah.
And it's not like having an agent just hand off like, oh, okay, yeah, well, here's what you need to do. You got to go find like this, and this. Like we have it. And if like we don't, we have people who do. And there's like never going to come a time where, we don't have somebody who's got somebody if for whatever reason we don't.
Yeah. I would also add to that kind of the abundant mindset of everybody. Like everyone's like, yeah, let's try it. Like when you read about startups, like we're not a startup anymore. I mean, we've been around for over 10 years, but it's like, it still has that like startup mentality where everything's possible. Hey, let's try this. Let's try that, and as long as you're not totally scattered, it actually can be very, very beneficial because there's a lot of people at these big box brokerages who are just kind of stuck in what they've always done. And we always say like, what got you here won't get you there. Certainly in the next 5 years, that is not going to be the case. Things are going to change considerably on our back end. And that abundant mindset, though, will allow us to deal with adversity, but it will also open us up to other strategies to help our clients.
Well, and I like too that because people will ask like, oh, where's your office? I'm like, I don't care where my office is. It's like, I mean, it's an Ambler, but like I go there maybe once a quarter, like if that. And, I could have no office and I wouldn't be completely unaffected at this point. But
I think the real estate office
is like, I'm like, I can even tell you like who in that chat is even in our physical like office. I was like, this is a cloud-based kind of brokerage. And I don't mean that in like a, in like an EXP kind of way or just kind of like, oh, we're just cloud-based and we have no like permanent place. It's more just because we're not, because I always tell people I'm like, brokerages are very siloed by office and by specific location. And I'm like, we're not like, there's a home base, like if you need it. I said, but the benefit to it is if you're local to it, but I'm not. And it's okay. Cause it's one of those, you work for Real, you work with Real and everybody who works with Real. And it's not location specific.
Yeah. And I'd say that the real estate office is probably the biggest indicator of where a company's mind is,
I'm glad this company does not take my money and put it towards a commercial building.
It demonstrates a lack of understanding as to where, like how the agent really extracts value from a brokerage. We haven't even talked about the fact that we don't have all these leases and overhead like a lot of big box companies, and they give us stock. They give us revenue share. We recruit people we attract people to the model, and then we get a little bit of everything that moves through their business. And they're able to do that because they don't have all this overhead and all these secretaries and everything like that. But if you talk to an agent or you talk to a broker who's like, yeah, man, look at this big office. Like we're going to open up more offices and everything like that you should run from that. In my personal opinion, respectfully, The value to the agent is not having an office. It's literally, it's my car and where I'm sitting right now. That's it. That's where my office is, or anywhere I can get a Wi-Fi signal on a laptop at a Starbucks or in my library or Wegmans or whatever.
Or a hotspot.
Or a hotspot or whatever. It's like, that's where my office is because everything is done digitally now. And like people going into offices, especially these like open concept offices, that's for me, it's a nightmare. I can't get anything done in these like open, but you also go into like, you go in some of these offices and they're furnished like it's 1998 and they're quiet. No one's there. There's nothing there. So like, what is the value of the office? A quiet place to work? I got a library. I got my porch. So I love the fact that there's no overhead at this company. And that allows us to compete in a lot of different ways. So overall, 0 out of 10, where would you give Real?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, so overall 0 out of 10, it sucks. Don't come here. That would be 0 to 10. No.
Where would you rank it?
It's great. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Okay.
No notes.
I give it 9.5. I give it 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, no, nothing's perfect. I have no intentions of leaving though. There's no reason to. Plus, the company's motto is work hard, be kind. That's great.
Yeah.
And I love that. I just like that. That's it. That's all you need to do. Just go work hard. Be a good person, period.
By the way, I have yet to meet an asshole here at this company. Like someone who's like really just a dick. I have not actually met anybody who's like that. Nationally either. Like I haven't like witnessed anybody like carrying on a call. Like everybody is like cool. There's no the people here
doesn't attract that though. I've tried to explain this to somebody before, and I was talking to another agent that I was working alongside on a deal. We got coffee after, and I was like, here's the thing though. I was like, the model of this brokerage and just like the way it does business, the way that attracts it doesn't attract assholes, and it doesn't attract like hack asses. It attracts good people, just fun, like morally good and, strong agents.
Yeah.
It's good people.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I like being a part of that. I like being included in that.
Yeah.
Well, I like to think that I'm a hard worker and I'm a good person too.
We belong here. And there are people I'm sure who join this company who are like, it's all a little too woo woo, or it's too like,
And I don't think that they'll stay here.
They won't stay. No, they'll go back and, pay through the nose. They'll pay their broker through the nose, right? So, all right, well, we'll leave it at that. But just know that, yeah, we made this move for ourselves, but we also made it for our clients. Lots of change coming, guys. We can't wait to tell you all about it as it happens, but there'll be stuff that changes. It's all, I think, going to be good for the real estate agent and the industry itself. It's going to shed a lot of waste from a bygone era. So, but if anybody wants to talk about attraction, wants to talk about coming over, any consumers out there who are just curious about like exactly how the hell a real estate agent gets paid and like what the hell we're talking about. If they're a curious creature like me, that's what we're here for. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe, give us a rating.
Even if you hate us, do it anyway.
Even if you hate us.
Humor us.
Or just make fun of Jen.
Do a hate follow. Yeah, really. It seems to be the common theme.
I don't think I've ever gotten a comment at my expense. But most people are nice. We actually got a really good comment from a follower, Justin, about attire, because I think we were talking about professionality of whether like showing up in a t-shirt like makes a difference.
Oh yeah.
So we had
some others, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So all right, guys, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.